What's your biggest flex that you'll never tell anyone? Deaf person here. W. Howlett was hearing aids and relies heavily on lip reading. I get excited on the extremely rare occasions I can figure out a spoken phrase without any lip reading. It almost never happens. Or when I recognize a song I know now, but there's no point in bragging because other people will just think I'm not that deaf and make less of an effort to face me/speak clearly. RLY. Lol. I think I can kinda relate to this cause I stutter, and I feel extremely happy when I'm able to string together a sentence perfectly when I'm conversing with strangers over the phone. I was quoted on some literary website one time for something I said off the cuff in an argument. I also got to play a few shows with some of my favorite bands of all time. But I'm so far removed from that music scene now that no one I know would ever care about it except for me. I'm kinda in the same boat. I produce music for like 15 years, signed to 7 different labels, and have headlined shows. Noon I hang out with now has any idea. My job is a remote monitoring gig, where we work 12-hour shifts for weeks at a time. There's always 3 of us in the center at any given time, and it can get really slow on the weekends when nobody else is around the office. One of the guys I work with is this really quiet and soft-spoken guy from Colombia. Really nice dude and cool to talk to, but just doesn't really ever say anything to anybody unless you initiate the conversation. I knew he was into music and played guitar from some of our prior conversations, so I brought one into the office one weekend to keep us entertained when things get slow. Well, turns out this dude is like really fucking good at guitar. Like so good that he makes a campfire guitarist like me feel embarrassed for having the audacity to own such an instrument. He had always said stuff like I play some guitar in my free time when I would ask what he did during his time off. Well, we start talking more about it and he finally drops the "oh well, I played in a band for a little while in my younger days." Then I get we were actually a pretty popular metal band in Colombia for a while, and then ask him how many people came to their shows. "Oh, I don't know. I think some of the arenas and stadiums held like 60k. Like bro, you can't casually tell people "oh, I dabble in guitar in my free time" when the truth is I'm a metal god that sold out stadiums across South America for years. Granted, that was in his 20s and now has in his 40s with a normal white collar career and a wife and kids. But still. Edit. To everyone asking the band name. I don't remember what it was because it's not really my style of music. I hadn't ever heard of them and don't listen to metal at all. I'll ask him next time I see him. But we're not scheduled to work together again until February. He was the lead guitarist and they were most popular in the early 2000s. Think he moved to the States in 2005 after the band shut down. I was in the grocery store and saw an older woman standing in the aisle comparing what was in her cart to what was in her wallet. Obviously counting to see if she could afford everything. Based on her body language as she walked away, I could tell that the answer was no. So I took a 20 out and walked up to her and said, "Ma'am, when you were over there just a second ago this fell out of your wallet." I handed her the bill and just walked away so she wouldn't be embarrassed if she figured out I was lying. I did hear her say thank you, so I half turned and told her "you're welcome. Have a nice night." Apostrophe. It was only $20, but I think it made a difference to her, and that felt amazing. Good on you! Exclamation mark. I was waiting in line at a cashier last year where the woman in front of me saw her card being declined while paying. She told the cashier she was going to her car and coming back. I just paid her bill while she was out and came across her going back, and as I was leaving the store. You can tell when people are going through hardship at times, and little things like this actually makes me think if more people helped each other like this, there'd still be hope for humanity. I bought some then relatively worthless Apple stock because I thought I'd be able to eBay the stock certificate with the rainbow Apple logo when the company went out of business. My investment guy just thinks I'm really clever. I've not corrected him. In my public speaking class I had to give a speech on procrastination. I wrote the speech an hour before class. In my feedback notes I was told I had great preparation. The expert. I raised $100,000 for a scholarship fund in the memory of my deceased twin brother. Since that time we've given away over 200 scholarships. I'm sorry about your brother, but it's amazing you were able to help so many people. 3. Me and my girlfriend created in the past a YouTube channel for kids, playing with toys using only our hands and voices. We had videos hitting 300k plus views, but we uploaded few videos, like 10 videos, because our priorities changed and we stopped. But we were still able to make several $100s from them, and the videos still generate some money today after many years. I think if we had continued with that, maybe we would be able to make a lot of money. I regret we didn't keep uploading more videos. Do you know that random, intuitive ideas you have sometimes? Pay attention to them. Your DPU is smarter than yourself sometimes. I never get bored. Ever. It's a useful superpower when I'm stuck in certain situations. I won a YouTuber's writing competition. My story got seen by 100k people, which was cool. But all the other winners got a trip to VidCon for a live reading of their stories. I didn't because I don't have social media. Yes, I'm still salty about it. 7 years later. Fucking sucks. I once made a cool piece of art, and a friend posted it to Reddit, and it ended up making it into the game. My friend got all the credit, and to this day I've been wanting that item I designed. That was like 6 years ago, so I don't blame your salt. Edit. Damn. I got more recognition in this post than I ever did for the original thing. I don't mean for this to turn into a post-award speech, but my salt is more satisfied now. Thanks Reddit. I dropped a fry from my mouth and slapped it to try and save it. It landed back in the box. Had a class where the professor was pissed that everyone did really bad on an essay and was yelling at the class. He said that aside from one person W Harlot got a 97%, he was disappointed with everyone. Yeah, I had a 97%. And similar thing happened to me in an English class junior year of high school. Assigned some book, maybe To Kill a Mockingbird? And I read it like 5 times before the exam. Teacher said that he curved it to the highest score and no one had ever gotten a 100% in all his years of having the test. Just before he started passing the tests back, he asked me how many times I read the book. I was shy and quite in high school, so having every eye on me sucked. But anyways, he said he was impressed, and I ended up getting extra credit on it because he curved it to the next highest score. Same. Exclamation mark. We had to read The Day No Pigs Would Die. If he'd curved it to my score, everyone else would have D's or worse, so he curved it to the serving highest. I got a candy bar, and it made me feel awesome for eating it more than once. Lol. I have enough old, valuable Magic the Gathering cards to buy a car. A new, really nice car. I don't tell anyone I roll, because they're from when I was young and collected them. And my current social circle would think it's kid/nerd stuff and wouldn't understand. Doesn't get me down, though. Current plan is to hold on to them until they go up enough over time to match my mortgage balance, then use them to pay off my house. Edit. I appreciate all the comments. I currently actively keep up with the MTG market, and I'm a pretty close follower of the /mtfinance sub. As far as the MacUp of the cards, RL cards, mostly from 93/94, and complete sets from Urza's block and earlier. I saw Elton John in Vegas, Red Piano Tour. During Benny and the Jets, I can whistle extremely loudly. I nailed the whistle part that is on live version of the song that plays on the radio. He smiled. I lived with my grandparents my whole life. W Harlot lived in a small little house across the street from a big fancy neighborhood development. And they lived in the same house for 40 years before the development. And it was a very bad hill on a busy road with the neighborhood in trance at the bottom of the hill, which was across the street from our house. Me and my grandpa would pull people out of wrecks all the time. I saved a bunch of lives, but sadly saw over 10 people die on that hill growing up. The big fancy people in that neighborhood would always bring us food and gifts. FTS. They called my grandpa the gatekeeper. Paid off 40k in net during quarantine due to no more daycare costs for 3 kids. And better paying job for the wife. Also dropped body fat from 14% to 7% using my ghetto ass home gym while everyone was complaining about the quarantine. 15. Went from having one family meal a week to almost daily. I don't tell anyone this obviously because there are people going through tough times. Especially family and close friends, and I can empathize with that as it hasn't been completely smooth and there were some stressful moments. But I'm proud of what my wife and I were able to do in a relatively short amount of time. But haven't shared any of this at the risk of alienating anyone. Congrats on everything. And being a considerate person. I have a no gag reflex. This will go to my grave. Married man with 3 kids. I saw a lizard in the middle of a busy road. I bent down on the side of the road and called for it as I put my hands out, and he ran straight into my arms. I carried him to safety and didn't think anything of it until I heard a stranger behind me go, "Did y'all see that shit?" She's a lizard whisperer. Man, I wish there was another witness because I bet I looked cool. I saved a baby squirrel this same exact way. I didn't think about how crazy it was that the squirrel came running and hiding in my jacket till later that day. 4-lane busy road. And its mom was roadkill in the middle of it. And it was frantically investigating its mom as cars drove by. Still breaks my heart. I got accepted into Mensa and then immediately realized I don't want to hang out with the type of people who join Mensa, so I never went through with it. I'm too embarrassed to tell anyone I took the test. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.